Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a follow-up video to the review that I did of these engines. Now, reason why I'm doing this, a couple of reasons actually, but is that I want to kind of discuss the problems that I've run into with these engines and the newer rail sounds light. Talk about that more in a moment, but the big problem with this engine here is probably the ditch lights, and they flicker. And what I did to fix that, so all I did is I stuck a little tiny piece of electrical tape underneath here, and that seems to hold the wires in place a little bit better so they don't move, I guess, and they don't flicker anymore. So the other problem I had with this engine was probably my fault. I think I overfilled the smoke unit. And what would happen is the cab light is the diagnostics. Got a nice amount of dust on there too. The cab light is the diagnostics to your engine, and the cab light was blinking I think 3 times. Then it would stop, and that indicates the smoke unit fan isn't working correctly. And I think it got messed up because of the fluid got into the fan and it was keeping it from moving or something. And all I did to fix that was I flipped the engine upside down for about an hour and just let it sit like that. Flipped it back upright and works just fine. The other problem, I actually did a video on it. I'll link that in down below, and I'll also link the original review down below too. But there's a problem where if you lash this up as the rear engine facing backward, if you lash this up as a rear engine facing backward, what ends up happening is this one will react to the horn command sent to the front engine. I have a different video on that, so I'm not going to go into it, but the other engines back here, they have some different problems. I'm not sure how well you can see those, but they had quite a few different problems. I think I've had 10 of these total out of the 6 here because of them being exchanged, not working. But there was 2 that worked out of the box that didn't really have to be sent back. And only one of those is still perfectly running right now, and that is the Southern Pacific unit. The other one was the Rio Grande, but now I'm having coupler issues with it. And I'm having the rear backup light, I guess, keeps flickering on it, which to me indicates that it's not getting a very good signal. And I don't know if that's... because usually it'd be the front headlight, I thought. And that happens, or I keep noticing that happening, when it's in a lash-up. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But one of the biggest problems was probably the sound systems. And one of the things here is the volume potentiometer. If you send in one of your engines like this to Lionel, they will pretty much immediately replace that potentiometer, and I found that to not actually be the problem on the Katy and the Western Pacific unit. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about with a volume potentiometer, that's the little thing underneath this cap here. That's this little deal. A little knob controls your volume. And what happened is that thing would blow out. That thing would blow out, and you get a problem where you would have no sound to your speaker. And yeah, that fixed the Mopac unit, and yeah, that's the only thing that actually fixed. But the Katy and the Western Pacific actually had to... the soundboards had to be replaced, and we had to send those things back like 3 times in order to get that to work. If you go back, watch some of my really old videos, you'll see I'm pretty much constantly talking about This engine had to be sent back. We got this engine back, but we had to send it back again. And that's pretty much what happened. And those two had some really weird sound issues with them. But another problem is the motor driver. The Chicago and Northwestern there had a motor driver problem originally. And what would happen is you could throttle it up and it wouldn't do anything. The ditch lights would come on, the cab light would go off, the RPMs would go up, your smoke level went up, but it didn't move. And then we sent that one back. Well, we exchanged it, and the one that we got that was exchanged was way worse. What it would do is it would, the number boards would come on, the number board lights would come on, and it would do nothing else. Now, keep in mind, the newer engines, that's what kind of it's supposed to do when you first turn the power on. But these older ones, the headlight, the cab light, the ground lights, and the number board lights are all supposed to come on when you first apply the power. So that one had something way wrong with it. And it would not respond at all to any kind of command. It just sat there, did nothing. Even in program mode, it still did the same thing. But I think that's about all the problems that I've had with them. I've heard of another problem where if you go to speed step 1, the thing would just take off full throttle around your track. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a different one, but yeah, I think that's about all the problems I've had. Now, I had a question not a while back. Someone asked me about Rail Sounds Lite versus Rail Sound 6.0. And that's Lite. Is how they spell that. And really the only difference is the auto sequence control. That's the biggest difference anyway. Rail Sounds Lite is equipped with auto sequence control. It also gives you the where you can fill up the tank, the diesel tank, or load coal into your steamers. And that also gives you the ability, I think Lionel calls it, real-time speed and fuel dialogue or something like that. And that's where you hit the aux 1 and then the crew talk dialogue thing on your remote. And it will tell you, like, we're at 30 miles, or we're at medium speed and we have a half tank of fuel or something like that. Other than that, I don't think there's really any differences. The biggest one, of course, is auto sequence control is enabled on that. But of course, your every single board in that engine is different because of auto sequence control. The soundboard, the motherboard, the well, what else is there? Motor driver. Well, I don't think the motor driver is different. Well, actually, yeah, it probably is. Motor driver's different, the radio receiver would be different. Pretty much everything's different inside of that thing. But that is pretty much all I have to say. This is like a follow-up video, like I said. But these engines aren't exactly perfect. If you want to buy one of these things, you might want to be willing to send them back in order to get repairs on them, or send them to Lionel. Your repairs or exchange them or whatever. Or if you're like me, you're willing to open up your engine as long as the warranty's expired and mess with them from there. Yeah, I'm willing to do that. I am electronically inclined, at least somewhat. But kind of know how that stuff works inside there. I have a whole other channel, and it's all about electronics, but, well, not all about electronics, but close enough. The engines, I would recommend buying them as long as you're willing to deal with them, or maybe if you get them off of eBay, you might actually make them give you a guarantee that they work fully. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't buy them things off of eBay if you don't see like a 30-day money back guarantee or something like that. Yeah. So that's all I got to say for them. So I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.